You think you've done a hard Red Dead Redemption mission? No, you haven't. Not until this mission, you haven't. Welcome back, guys. I'm Brock the Cheesemonger. If you're joining us from our last episode, we just broke Micah out of jail, which we probably shouldn't have done because he basically shot up the town, killed a bunch of people. Not good. Not good at all. We're going to travel to the train station because today we're going to be heading to Valentine, picking up a poster, and trying to fill some hunting requests for the A New World, A New Friend challenge. Excuse me, A Better World, A New Friend challenge. Usually this takes not one in-game day, but a few in-game days to do because there's so many animals, so many different things that you have to send through the mail. It sounds like there's a reward from this, so that's why we're going to tackle this. You can start with the train station here in Valentine, post office. Who is that? And apparently there's the document right there. Hunters sought, low caliber kills only. So this is for exhibition. It looks like the first one is an adult rabbit and an average squirrel. Sent to the attention of Mrs. L. Hobbs of Strawberry. So we're going to try to get some of these animals, send them off, starting with a rabbit and a squirrel.
How about you head over to the gunsmith and pick out your choice of item?
No way.
On my tab.
Alright guys, so what really helps with this mission is getting that varmint rifle first. The varmint rifle is actually the preferred weapon in Red Dead Redemption 2 to get those flawless rabbits. The next thing that really makes this mission easy is getting the buck horn, which is going to give you a trinket, which makes it a lot more easier to get perfect pelts. When you get this horn from the black buck, which is located in the Blackbone Forest just northwest of Strawberry, you're going to be able to make a trinket so that you can get pelts and carcasses that are perfect, or 3 stars, a lot easier. Alright, so apparently it is a very specific recipe to craft the buck trinket. You will need to go to a local fence in order to craft it. So as long as the legendary buck antler is in your inventory, you should be able to craft it, no problem. Now that we have the legendary buck trinket and the varmint rifle, it should make this 10 times easier to do because we're going to be knocking them out like flies. Horseshoe Overlook Camp seems to be the best spot with the most squirrels and the most rabbits, at least the most squirrels. So my tips for Hunter Request 1 for the squirrel and the rabbit is to use Eagle Eye to your advantage. You're going to want to use that as much as possible. It's a quick way to identify if a pelt is going to be 3-star, 1-star. Using the small game bow and arrows is actually the preferred weapon for squirrels. So make sure you're using that for the squirrel. For the rabbit, that's where you want to use the varmint rifle because it comes in clutch. It's just so handy. I actually didn't know that at the time, so I wasted a bunch of ammunition firing at squirrels and degrading pelts. So don't do that. If you use the varmint rifle, you can just restock on ammo as much as you need until you get those 3-star pelts that you need for this mission. Another little tidbit for you guys is aim for the squirrels first. Why? Well, because the rabbit pelts will spoil within a day or two, and the squirrels are a lot more rare. What I mean is, for every squirrel you find, you'll probably find 3 to 6 rabbits. So the squirrels are a lot harder to come by. My other tip is if you have the legendary buck trinket and you take out an animal and it looks like a 2-star carcass, it may not be 2 stars. Double check it once you pick it up because in your inventory, it may be a perfect pelt. So make sure you're double checking that because it'll save you a ton of time. You will receive 50 in-game dollars for that first hunting request, which you can pick up at any local post office, doesn't really matter which one. The second in-game hunting request from Mrs. L. Hobbs is going to be the Cardinal, the Woodpecker, and the Rat. This one is going to be a lot easier, I found, because it's not timed. You don't have to worry about any pelts spoiling. These are all small animals that Arthur will be able to magically put in his magic satchel like Mary Poppins and pull out whenever he needs. You can use the varmint rifle for this one, but I stuck to the small game arrows with the bow and arrow because when you use the varmint rifle and you shoot something, it will naturally degrade to a 2-star, if not worse. Having that buck antler trinket will possibly raise it back up to a 3-star, but otherwise it's better to use those small game arrows. You can craft the small game arrows using regular arrows, shotgun shells, and flight feathers. So make sure you have enough of those small game arrows before you go out on this second hunting request, because you don't want to be caught out there without any arrows and then have to go back, buy more supplies, or craft more arrows. The Cardinal is the first one I went after, and I'm going to show you guys the absolute best spot that I found. If you're looking at the map, it's the Big E in New Hanover. It's going to be right next to Horseshoe Overlook, so that's another nice thing about this location. But it's actually going to show you 3 different bird spawns all in the same area. There's going to be this little ridge right here that you can go down, and you'll see birds perching along here. Every time you stop by this location, you can stop at this specific tree, get off your horse, take out your bow and arrow with the small game arrows, and you'll be about 20 meters away. You can take out your binoculars and just look at the tops of these rocks. And what you'll see is just normal birds. Blue jays, cardinals, and orioles. Although the orioles are kind of rare. I was able to find a 3-star cardinal, actually a couple of them within 5 minutes. You can just crouch up to them, no problem. Take as much time as you need to get that clean shot, and it works like a charm. If you don't happen to see any 3 stars, do not kill the birds. That will actually make it take longer for them to respawn. What you want to do is just go back up the hill, ride towards this rock, and then come straight back, and you'll find 3 brand new birds. This has got to be one of the easiest locations for hunting requests I found. The second animal that I went after was the rat. And the rat, I'll be honest guys, was harder than I thought it was going to be. Killing a rat in and of itself is actually really easy because you can just walk right up to them. But finding that elusive 3-star rat for me was kind of difficult. I went to a couple locations. The first place I checked was Limpany, which is just right below Horseshoe Overlook. It's that kind of burnt out town. You can find 3 rats sometimes in that burnt out saloon. I didn't find any. I didn't really have any good luck there, so I just went to the next location. So I went to the second location, Copperhead Landing, which is all the way on the east side of the map on north of St. Denis. The first couple times I went to that beach, I found 1 and 2-star rats, but I came back and found multiple 3 stars. This is also a great place to find bullfrogs and alligators. The rats pretty much don't care that you're there, as long as you don't gallop up to them on your horse. Just kind of crouch towards them or even walk towards them, and they're pretty much sitting there eating fish guts and whatnot. And watch out for snakes. For the woodpecker, this will probably be the hardest, but it depends on your gameplay. There are 2 types of woodpeckers in Red Dead Redemption 2. There's the red-bellied woodpecker and the pileated woodpecker, and like cardinals, they are virtually everywhere on the map. I'll admit I didn't look at too many locations for the woodpeckers. I just kind of stuck to one location, and it worked for me. I went to Fort Brennan, which is just west of the Van Horn Trading Post. It's also not too far from Copperhead Landing, so that was another plus. And another bonus is that there's some extra things like a Civil War knife underneath Fort Brennan, and there's rats on the ground level of the fort. So you can actually hunt woodpeckers and rats at the same time. All you got to do for the woodpecker is just climb the ramparts, those little walks, and then just look out and you'll see birds flying in the sky, a variety of birds, and just wait for a woodpecker. This one may take 10 to 20 minutes because you don't know what bird's going to fly out there. But once you do find the woodpecker, usually you'll find a good one, especially if you're using that buck trinket. And then the other cool thing is that if you don't find that 3-star woodpecker, you can simply go to the ground level. You might find some rats there that you can shoot if you've not found that 3-star rat yet. Ride to the Van Horn Trading Post, which is not very far. Ride back, and there will definitely be new birds that have already spawned. Go ahead to your local post office, turn that in, and you will receive $70. So already 50 and 7, that's $120 from completing 2 hunting requests from Mrs. L. Hobbs. Not bad. All right, nice job on getting that second hunting request done, guys. Not an easy feat by any means. Now, let's jump to the 3rd hunting request. Take it on from Mrs. L. Hobbs. Hunting request 3 requires 3 perfect small animals and one moderate-sized animal, the last one being an opossum, which you should probably hunt last because you don't want the carcass to spoil. For all 3 small animals, you can use the varmint rifle, but using those small game bow and arrows is going to be your best bang for your buck, and help not to degrade the 3-star animals. I think starting off with the chipmunk is probably the best idea because the chipmunk definitely isn't easy, even if you happen to know good hunting rounds. For me, I found a pretty good location for chipmunks at the Scarlet Meadows stables just east of Dewberry Creek. Kind of a small stables that's not easily identified, but once you find it, you'll find a bunch of little chipmunks scurrying about. Pretty good location for it. The chipmunks tend to spawn in groups of 2s or 3s. In my experience, they were about the same rarity as squirrels, so they can be a little spread out and definitely less common than rabbits. Their total surface area is about the size of a peanut, so make sure you're using those small game bow and arrows to get a clean shot. Next up, we have the Oriole, the Baltimore Oriole. The location I picked for this one is actually right next to the Scarlet Meadows stables, so you can kind of transition from one animal to the next. So just southeast of the Scarlet Meadows stables, you'll see the Ring Neck Creek. It's a little creek that runs right into the Camassa River. A little footbridge is just at the end of that tributary that leads into the Camassa River, and there's always going to be an Oriole and a tanager or songbird on that bridge. I kid you not, guys, this is probably hands down the best Baltimore Oriole spot that you will find. The method I used is you check that footbridge. If you don't see a 3-star Oriole, don't worry. All you have to do is turn around on that Camassa River, you'll pass one tree stump, and then at the next log that's downed, that's actually another bird spawn. So you can check that one, you'll do a quick turnaround, and just keep going back and forth along that Camassa River Road. I had unbelievable luck with this, and almost always every time I checked that footbridge at the end of Ringneck Creek, I saw one Oriole on the Camassa River side and one songbird on the Ringneck Creek side. Let me know if this is also happening for you guys, because I was astonished at how many times an Oriole spawned, basically 97% of the time. Oh, also guys, these birds fly away super fast, and there's a lot of travelers on this road as well, so make sure when you go up to it, you try to lock on as soon as possible, because they will fly away, and especially if you're on your horse, they're going to be out of range before you know it. I really like this place because it always gives you something to do. You just keep riding back and forth on that road. It seems like you're always active. You're always looking for the next bird spawn. And I was able to get 3 perfect Baltimore Orioles. So yeah, it's a pretty good spot. Next up, we have the robin, the American robin or North American robin. I'll be honest, out of all these hunting requests, this one had me the most scared because I had heard that the robin was really hard to come by. But my fears were allayed when I found a robin, a 3-star robin, mind you, on my second time checking at a small footbridge just northwest of the Elysian Pool. This footbridge is where you guys are going to want to check for robins because I kid you not, there are so many of them. The route or method that I used is you check the footbridge first, you go through it, scare off any birds, try not to kill any if it's not a robin, and then you make your way up the Roanoke Ridge top of the mountain, and then you just come right back and there should be new birds that have spawned. You just keep making this loop, and it's a great way to hunt for robins. I found that these birds, like all birds in the game, tend to spook super easily, so if you thought you saw a robin, and then when you actually come up to the bridge, you don't see one, make sure you check, look in the sky, because it could be flying around up there and you don't want to miss out on that 3-star robin. It's a lot of hard work. I want you guys to get paid off. Obviously, this was not my experience, but if you do not find a robin, or if you have trouble finding a 3-star robin, there's another location that you can check. That is going to be the Roanoke Valley. It's a gorgeous spot. There's tons of boulders that these robins tend to perch out on. There's like a waterfall. Just a great hunting spot in general, but apparently there's robins here. You guys will probably have better luck than I did, especially if you're not finding robins at that footbridge northwest of the Elysian Pool. Alright, so hopefully by now you've gotten the Chipmunk, the Oriole, and the Robin, and you can finally focus on that last hunting request, the Opossum. Not to worry, fellow Cheezonians, the Opossum is actually super easy to find and even easier to dispatch. What you're going to want to do is go to the Riggs station between 6 p.m. and 5 a.m. in-game time. On horse, saunter your way to the Lone Mule Stead. There is a guaranteed opossum at the base of one of the surrounding trees. You're welcome. That's literally it. It's so easy, guys. This is probably the easiest one out of Hunting Request 3, I'm not gonna lie. If you spook the opossum or if you just follow it right up next to it, it'll play dead. You can actually get an achievement by killing an opossum that is playing dead. So, knock that one out, guys. I recommend the Pokemon method, which is basically just saving the game right before you go to check for that specific animal. And then if it's not a 3-star, you just revert back to the save, and then you check, and hopefully it's a 3-star. Of course, you don't have to do that. I actually didn't do that. I enjoyed just kind of the wild spice of the rarity. You know, is it going to be there? Is it not? I don't know. And just kind of explore the area. If for some reason you're having trouble finding the opossum at the Riggs train station, you can check the Old Green Bank Mill, which is the dried up creek bed, I believe, to Dewberry Creek. And there should be an opossum there at that old mill. And of course, guys, for me, this is another one that everybody said there's an opossum there, and I did not see one. So that's why I'm giving you guys these locations. So hopefully you can find these animals. Once you have all those 3-star buddies that you worked so hard for, go ahead to the local post office and send that in the mail to Mrs. L. Hobbs. She should have a nice fat check for you within 24 in-game hours.
For me, this was $100 Rooskies, which I was pretty happy to pick up.
So yeah, by doing these 3 hunting challenges, you can net yourself an easy, well, I wouldn't say easy, $220. Not bad.
Thanks,
Go ahead and tell us in the comments what you're going to spend your hard-earned cash on in Red Dead Redemption 2. For me personally, I'll probably put it towards that fast travel upgrade that Arthur has back at camp so I can get from place to place a lot easier. Well, thanks for watching, guys. I really do appreciate it. If you have not already, snipe that like button like it's a 3-star American Robin. We will tackle Hunting Requests 4 and 5 once we reach that part of the game. As you may know, we are doing the Red Dead Redemption 2 playthrough, walkthrough, whatever you want to call it. I do story missions. I do stranger missions. So if that's your thing, go ahead and hit that subscribe button and join Cheese Nation. Until next time, I'm Brock the Cheesemonger, and I'll see you in our next Red Dead adventure.